They. We don't want to be where they are, where this is. This is not you guys sitting on this part of the room, but that's the areas that we don't want to be in. And Paul gives these things, and I've kind of put them in a list. But Paul didn't give Timothy a list. He kind of spoke them out and elaborated and gave him these things. But here's a couple of things where the theys are. You don't want to be where they are. Paul says false teachings and speculation. Stay away from godless chatter is what Paul says. Any idea that's opposing the faith, as you grow up, you're going to be around all kinds of ideas and people trying to convince you of one thing or another that are just false, that are just mindless chatter, that are just going to be a waste of your time and your energy. Paul tells Timothy, don't be absorbed with those things. Avoid false teachings and speculation. Don't give up any brain matter for those things. And then he says foolish arguments. Stay away from foolish arguments. Are there foolish arguments in our time? Oh man, everywhere. I wrote in my notes, if you're on social media, there are people that just get into a conversation and we call them trolls. All they're trying to do is just to get a rise out of somebody, get your blood pressure going on. That kind of, it's worthless. Paul says, stay away from foolish arguments. Boy, that would ease a lot of us, the pressures that we feel, wouldn't it? The next thing, the third thing and last thing I'm going to say about the don'ts is Paul says, don't love money or worldliness. That doesn't mean you can't have money. That doesn't mean you can't be out in the world sharing and living and being the person that Christ wants you to be. But don't be absorbed with trying to make another dollar. Because if your life is absorbed with just making another dollar, that's all you're ever going to be chasing. You're going to be after what the world has to offer. God may provide you with more money than you ever imagined, but it's for His purposes, not just so that we can be better than our neighbors. I'm the neighbor right there. That kind of. Y'all don't have that neighbor. Y'all have somebody else, and they'll drive up. I was looking on social media the other day, and I was looking at something completely not related to this, and this pickup truck pulled up, and I was like, oh, that's a good-looking truck. And I mean, all of a sudden, my brain is, doing what our brains do whenever, and I'm like, oh, stay away. My wife, she didn't even make eye contact, right? She knows me too well. Stay away from the things of the world. Not having a nice truck is not a bad thing. But when we do it just to be better than or like somebody else in the world, it distracts us. And Paul was telling Timothy, don't chase after those things. That will not be pleasing to the Lord. It will distract you from the purposes that He has for you. Be where they aren't, those things. So if we don't go after they and those, where should we be? Be where? Where should we be? Paul gives a couple of things that are applicable to all of us. Remember, he was writing this letter to Timothy. Timothy is a pastor. Timothy's going to lead this church. Timothy's going to do these specific things. That's probably not most of us. So if I were to say you got to do this, then that really doesn't do you any good when you think about that. But there are some parts of these letters, parts of this advice that Paul gives to Timothy that we can grab a hold of. We can be where this is. Paul says, guard your faith. You can be where you can guard your faith. Protect what God has given to you, what God has placed within you, the things that God wants to show you and reveal to you. Guard those things. Proclaim the word. Be in places where you can